We are now down to our Transportation Committee. Mr. Umling is chairperson. Oh, am I sorry? Ms. McLean is the chair lady. Okay. Ms. McLean, we've done pledge, we've done invocation.
No need to be redundant. We don't have to do all that again.
No.
Okay. I would like to welcome everyone to the July 1st, 2025 Transportation Committee meeting. Committee members include myself, Dr. Dozart, Jessica Yates, Steve Umling, and Dr. Vinson. Committee members, instead of responding to roll call on here, we can just do it by raise of the hand. So if you're here, present.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to skip the invocation and pledge of allegiance because we already did that, if y'all are good with that. I need a motion to confirm the agenda.
Well, can you press your button? Ms. Yates.
Motion to confirm the agenda.
I need a second.
Mr. Umling seconds.
Okay, please vote with a show of your hands. In favor? Yay? Okay.
Okay.
All right, I would like to ask our Director of Transportation, Mr. Jeff Roberts, to present to us the vision for the 2025-2026 school year.
Thank you, Ms. McLean. Good afternoon, Madam President, Superintendent Burton, and other members of the Transportation Committee. I'm pleased to be here this evening to share with you a small recap of some challenges that we faced in the 24-25 year, but then also our vision moving forward into the 25-26 school year. So looking at our challenges from 24-25, mostly what we see are challenges revolving around personnel or lack thereof and equipment issues. And as you all know, August is quickly approaching, and that will be the, no pun intended, the hot topic is AC units and how comfortable our buses will be when we return to school in August. That tends to be one of our major equipment failures, depending upon the type of system that was installed, and keeping in mind that our school bus AC systems are not like our systems in our personal vehicles. These are vendor products that are aftermarket products that are installed that International or Bluebird contracts out to third-party vendors. So we do have some new systems on our newest buses that have just arrived. We have 12 new buses that are at Plyler currently with a brand new system on those. So hopefully those will be a little more efficient and more reliable than some of the ones that we've dealt with in the past. But rest assured that our staff is working vigorously throughout the summer to make sure that we have as few problems as possible when we get into the August heat. So when we look at our plan for 25-26, we really are looking at three focal areas for this upcoming year. Our first one goes right back to one of our challenges that we've encountered in the past, which is recruitment and staffing, and it's around personnel. When we look at this, one of the things that I must congratulate you on and thank you as a board and our superintendent, and that is the approval of additional driver positions for this upcoming school year in our budget. That is something that's paramount in us being able to provide a level of efficiency that we've not seen before in our transportation department. Now, in the past, we've struggled to meet that number of fully staffed in our department, but I do have some good news for you as we move forward with that. When we look at our recruiting efforts currently, Miss Monique Dunn is our recruiter slash bookkeeper slash everything else that we need her to be. And she has done an exceptional job in recruiting new talent to our department. We had a job fair on June the 2nd that she planned and presented and carried out. We had over 100 applicants at our job fair. And this is strictly a transportation job fair, not an overall Caddo job fair. We will never do another class without that preloaded in front of it because of the results that we saw from that. From that list of 100+ participants, we began our June training class on June the 13th. We selected 28 of the top candidates from that list of 100 to run in our June training class. Currently, of those 28, 12 already have their permits and 2 already have their CDLs. So half of that class is on pace already to be complete with the process and ready to assume a route at the very beginning of the school year. We will continue to work with the other 14, getting all those participants through the training, and then we will begin our second summer class on July the 17th, which will then be another 28 to 30 individuals that we'll bring on board. And again, that allows us to handpick and be a little more selective in the process of looking at the top 50 or so applicants from those 100 plus that participated in the job fair. When we look at that, we currently have 250 routes slated for the beginning of the school year. We ended last year with 233 full-time drivers. We have added 2 that have transitioned over from an attendant position to a full-time driver position, which gives us 235. Plus, when we look at the 14 that are already on pace, we're sitting almost at 250 at present time. Now, it was crucial that when we asked for some additional staffing positions, moving our overall full-time driver positions to 260, and that was something that you as a board agreed upon, that enables us to have 10 additional drivers that will support and increase the efficiency and absentee coverage on a daily basis throughout our quadrants, and we'll kind of get into that here shortly. But we feel very confident and are very optimistic that we will be able to fill the 260 positions early this school year, and will be fully staffed with the 10 additional, and we still have 5 sub-positions that are allocated within the budget as well. Those 5 positions are already filled with 5 return-to-work employees that are former bus drivers that retired and are now back working with us. So great news on the recruitment and staffing side of our department. Next is reinforcing a positive culture, and that's one thing we've tried to do, I've tried to do for 5 years since I've been in this position, is develop a culture in transportation among our office, our garage, our drivers, our parents, all of our constituents. And in doing so, we have different incentive programs that we're going to be working with. We started something last year at the very end of the year during our testing cycle, where we had outside vendors contribute gift cards and different prizes for our drivers. And we monitored region by region all of the on-time delivery for all of our drivers. And anyone who was on time week 1 went into a drawing. And then if you were continued to be on time for week 2, you went into a drawing for week 2, week 3, week 4. To the demise of one of my garage personnel, my assistant foreman, who was pulling his hair out because he said, I don't have any spare buses because everybody's at work. But it did exactly what we wanted it to do. And everybody was showing up, and I think everybody enjoyed it. And then those drivers went into a drawing each week, and the prizes grew as we moved through the 4 weeks. It was a great time for everybody. The drivers were very excited about it, and that's something that we want to continue to do this year, and then also expand that into the fall as well. So we'll pick a month, maybe October this year, where we'll do a driver incentive program the month of October, as well as moving into the spring when we get into the testing time frame. When you look at our new resources, those are some things that we're looking at more on a communication basis, utilizing technologies that we already have available, things such as J-Campus and the new parent app through J-Campus, as well as Let's Talk, the K-12 Insight, and really amping up the capabilities that we will have for the parents and everyone involved utilizing Let's Talk. And we'll get into that in a little more detail as we move forward. Again, when you look at our recruitment process, the 10 additional drivers, I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but if we can be fully staffed at 250 positions and have 10 additional drivers along with 5 return-to-work employees on a daily basis, assisting with absentee coverages, other issues, for example, if we have a problem on a bus and a student had to be returned to the school, we could intervene with these hotshot buses, move them in, pick up that student, deliver that student home without ever having to return the student to the school. There's a lot of different things that we can utilize it for. Breakdowns, if we have a mechanical problem, we're limited on our Trailblazers. This gives us other options to move in, transfer the load of students to the other bus, and continue on at a high level of efficiency. What we plan to do with that is really separate those drivers out across the parish on an as-needed basis into our different quadrants. So we have regions, which would be our southwest, southeast, central, and northern region. And we would have those drivers available on a daily basis. I think you would see a huge increase in the on-time delivery and efficiency of our department with the addition of those 10 positions. Of course, our recruitment plan, as we walk through that, again, Ms. Dunn and our staff collectively in the office, our supervisors, our trainers, this goes well beyond just the recruiting agent there. It gets into our third-party testers, our 3 guys from our garage that do all of our on-the-bus training, our behind-the-wheel, our range training, our CDL testing. It is a large operation that everybody has to work together, and then we have to work around the bureaucratic side of that where, you know, one person can train a driver, but somebody else has to test that driver. So we have to watch our schedules and who's doing what all the time. But all of that coming together with the recruitment plan, with the job fairs, with the updated training curriculum, the additional driver trainers that we have, all of that enables us to work more quickly and efficiently in getting drivers from point A to point B and getting them out and assigned to a route as soon as possible. Again, our quadrant drivers, how we will allocate that will be based really upon need. We may be able to actually roll drivers from one region to the other. What we would really like to do is assign X number to each region, and then if need be on a daily basis, be able to move, say, somebody from the southeast over to the southwest, but keep them within a certain geographic location, and then have them familiar and have them equipped with devices that would enable them quick access to all of the routes within those regions. There's something else coming, and we'll kind of get to that when we get to that side of the presentation about how they'll be able to access those routes and what that will look like. Of course, our reinforcing our positive culture, recognition initiatives, and that can be our month-by-month recognition competition, on-time delivery. It can be other things. You know, gift cards that we typically go to certain restaurants that they'll donate 250 of those gift cards. We can hand those out to our drivers. Just really something to hand out to the drivers, you know, even if it's just for a free lunch, just to say thank y'all. We appreciate the job that you do. We know how difficult it is, and they do an excellent job each and every day transporting our kids to and from school. One of the biggest things this year, and they are actually aware of it, we discussed this, the potential for this at our end of year in-service. And again, I have to commend you as a board and the budget process, because moving into this year, we have a budget in place that enables each of our drivers to receive up to an additional $1,000 next year, and that is based on attendance. So for them being at work on a daily basis, they can then earn up to $250 per 9 weeks. We decided to break it into the 9 weeks because we felt like if they missed the target on 1 9 weeks, we still wanted to give them the opportunity on 3 others to make that target and increase their money. There is a stipulation, and it will be in policy within our department as to how many days they can miss. We're still in that phase of, is it going to be 1 day or 2 days per 9 weeks, and we'll hash that out before we get back to the initial meeting with our drivers at the beginning of the school. But I do see this as being something that is definitely going to decrease the number of absentees that we have, along with the increased number of full-time positions, which obviously is going to drastically improve our efficiency. Our advisory committee meetings, this year we made a drastic change with our committee meetings. In the past, we basically had the supervisor, we had myself, sometimes the COO, and the drivers and a couple of attendants in our transportation advisory committee meetings. This year we expanded that process. So now our advisory teams are made up not only of myself, supervisors, we have office staff, we have dispatchers involved, we have garage foremen, assistant foremen, mechanics, we have school-based employees and assistant principals and principals, and we have parents involved. So all members of the community are represented now in our advisory committee meetings, and we have those 3-4 times throughout the year. We come into the year, basically brainstorm, look at the hot topics, the things that we really need to address, and then we work on those throughout the remaining meetings of the year to try to resolve as best we can some of those concerns. And then fleet management. Fleet management again, particularly in August, because we know it's going to be 100 degrees and 100% humidity, and people get agitated when they're hot, whether it be students, drivers, or parents, or whoever. This year we're really making a push to limit the number of problems. And then also having to be a little bit creative in our fleet management side of things, because when we start to run our numbers up, you know, a few years ago we had plenty of buses. We had buses sitting around that we could go to and use as spare buses at any time because we didn't have the number of drivers that we currently have. Well, now as our number of drivers continues to increase, our number of available buses and spare units continues to decrease. So we really have to be selective in what we're going to maintain as a daily route bus, what we're going to maintain as a spare bus, and then what we need to get rid of. And we're in that process now. I've already met with the garage and have gone through that whole process. We're in communication with risk management. As soon as we deadline those buses and move them out to the warehouse, we remove them from the insurance, place the new ones on so that everything is taken care of. So again, it looks like we're going to have the numbers that we need within the fleet to support the 265 drivers that we will have, in addition to having another 30 to 35 spare buses in the spare fleet. And then the end of this is really our new resources centered around communication. And as a district, we know we're moving to the J-Campus Connect, the parent app within J-Campus, which I think is going to be great in getting messages out, and not only just through our communication that we send out, whether it be by voicemail or text message. It's another venue for parents to receive up-to-date information based on transportation needs. Athena is our new routing software that we will be migrating to. This will take place probably end of September through October. As you may well be aware, we currently have Edgelog as our routing system, our software system. Edgelog has been around for a long time. It's capable of doing the things that we need it to do, but like all other softwares, the update to that is now Athena. And it's still through Edgelog. It's just the fact that they are about to sunset the old ESQL system and move it into Athena The major difference there is our current system is a server-based program, software program, where Athena is a cloud-based program. We can access it from anywhere. It gives us a lot of capabilities that our current system does not. We can't currently go into our system and run optimization programs for efficiency and then make changes within the program, because when you do that, it makes changes in the live platform. Athena actually allows you to do all those simulations in what we call the sandbox, and then whatever you like and whatever you want to keep, you can then designate for it to come online and become effective or active at a specific date and time. So it's a lot more user-friendly. I really think everybody that's gone through it in our department, myself, the dispatchers, the routing supervisor, we're all on board and think this is going to be a great process for us. And then one of our other things really at the beginning of the year is phone calls. And how do we handle all of the phone calls that we get at the beginning of the year? And I'm going to kind of highlight Let's Talk with this at the same time, because 90% of the calls that we receive really throughout the year, but particularly in the first month of school, could have been answered if the parent would have simply gone to the transportation website and went to Find My Bus Stop and put in their address. And it will give them all the information. But for whatever reason, they seem to bypass that and they call us, and then it ties everybody up on the phone, and other things that are needing to get through may not be getting through. So typically it's where's my bus stop, what's my bus information, or can I change my bus stop location? And those are things that are easily accessible online that they can do without going through the phone systems. So as we move into Let's Talk and its capabilities for 25-26, this is going to be a situation where now, and we had a meeting with them earlier today, where we will have topic buttons and FAQs set up on the transportation website. We're going to work hand in hand with the communication department over the summer to get out this information to all the parents and constituents and really try to educate them on utilizing this. The response time for this will actually be shorter than if they were trying to go through the phone system, because a lot of the questions they have can actually be answered by going through a chat bot on the Let's Talk app, or simply clicking a link and bringing them to the location where they can type in their information and immediately get the feedback that they're looking for. All of that while decreasing the number of phone calls that come into the department. Now, we will double our staff up with reporting time, coming in early, remaining late. We do not like to bring on additional sub-employees at that point, because really they can't answer any questions. So what we will do is man it with our own staff, beginning at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning each day, and staying late to assist with any of those calls that we may have. And then, of course, the Let's Talk side of this, we asked just for a little glimpse into that. There are several districts that we've looked at. Cypress, Fairbanks is one. Pasco is another one that I really like. Some of the topic buttons and the setup of the Let's Talk side of things. You can have it run updates for you, and then once a parent contacts it or goes into Let's Talk, whereas now a lot of times what we find is I get a message on Let's Talk and I'm working on resolving the problem, and as I'm walking through the office, I say something to one of my supervisors and they say, "Oh yeah, I'm working on that too." And then we find out there's 3 of us working on the same problem at the same time. So the redundancy of that can be eliminated with the new version of Let's Talk, because what happens is we assign owners to certain buttons. And as it goes through that, For example, if there's a question about employment or how do I become a bus driver, that automatically is going to be routed to Monique Dunn, who handles that side of things. If there's a question about a bus safety concern, and it's here at Caddo Heights, then that automatically will be routed to the supervisor over Caddo Heights, and they will be the one to receive that. I will still have purview over the entire process, and it enables us then to run reports that can be actually set to run automatically each month so that we get average response times for all of our employees within our department. We can use that in an evaluative process for those employees, really showing and holding everyone accountable for their speed and accuracy in responding to all of the different comments and concerns that we have coming through the system. So far better situation than what we've dealt with in the past. All of this combined with the personnel additions, with the positive culture reinforcements, and with this new communication piece, I feel very optimistic that 25-26 is going to be our best year yet in transportation, and you'll realize that, I guess, if you're not getting the phone calls and you get to go on and look, and of course we'll be back at different times to give you updates on some of these different things, especially the Athena and the Let's Talk side of this. So we're excited and looking forward to the new school year.
Hi, Marion, Caddo Parish Public Schools. I wanted to show.
Oh, that's Mary's feed in there.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to play this because it didn't play on mine. So we're going
A
to,
little technical.
Yeah.
Working through the video side of it.
And can you all just let them know this will be like ours, we're still building ours.
Yes.
This is another school district, but
Yes.
this is what ours will look like.
and once we build this out, we'll share it with the board, with Mr. Burton and the board, so that you can see the actual layout of the topic buttons and the FAQs and those types of things. But this is just one example of something that they've done with one of their other districts. All right, Mary.
So should be able to just hit play.
Hi, Marion, Caddo Parish Public Schools. I wanted to show you very quickly an example of how Let's Talk is being utilized in a district in North Houston, the Cypress Fairbanks Independent School District, in their transportation department, and also just give you an example of what our call center looks like. So about 3 years ago, Cypress Fairbanks implemented Let's Talk in their transportation center to do a few things. One, to really streamline communication processes within the entire department, between their agents, between their dispatchers, between their routers, between all supervisors. And two, to really manage the high volume of inbound communication they get from their community. And so we did that in a couple of different ways. One is looking at their website. When you go to their transportation page, they utilize Let's Talk right here to create a landing page, which you may be familiar with this with other Let's Talk landing pages that Caddo Parish currently has. But we did this specifically for transportation so that when the community comes to the website, instead of having to track down a certain person's email address or name, they're able just to look at the different topics and choose what their particular issue or concern or need might be. The other thing that we did with them is that all of these, we do have some transportation employment options here, but we were able to take and put on their intranet all of their internal forms that they use for their transportation department to go paperless. And so we did that all through Let's Talk. So this is what it looks like for their community to first come to the website and submit a question. The other option that they have is this tab right here where there is a chatbot. So let me click on that. You can either enter your name or email or just chat anonymously. And this is a really great option for your community because it is available 24/7 and answers a lot of the questions that transportation departments really already have available for their customers on their website. They're able to pull it here. The other thing that really helped Cypress Fairbanks is they have a call center. And so they have the phone number that people call when they want to ask questions about how do I register, or my student's bus is late, or I need to change something for my student. And so within that call center, they're actually able to do it through Let's Talk. So the phone call actually comes in through the Let's Talk platform and creates a dialogue. The recording is captured there. All notes that the agent takes is captured there. Any internal notes can be created. You can also tag in additional supervisors or principals at a site or school that need to come in. So this is actually what it would look like, the normal Let's Talk platform. But what you would do right here is your community would call in, and I'm actually gonna call in so you can see what it looks like here. Let me get my phone number. And when they call in, you're going to notice that I've already made myself available within the platform. And the call is actually going to come through. So let's take a look at it. You'll see that I have SIS created. So as the call comes, you'll notice that you can see my phone number, my name. You'll see the parent of who I am here. So we can get that connected to your SIS information. So that way the customer is able to, without even having to tell you their information, is already in the platform. I'm going to go ahead and create a dialogue. And this is where agents at Cypress Fairbanks and other districts that utilize our call center, they're able to take notes during the call and get those back to the customer. They're able to make any internal notes here. So let's say I need to tag in my a principal at a school. Please see notes above. I'm able to tag that in for them to be able to see. And you'll also notice on this left-hand side here, I can see all of the customer information as we have that set up. This just streamlines a whole lot of processes into one singular place for your transportation department to utilize the platform. I'm going to go ahead and open back up the call, and I'm going to close it. You'll notice that we do have a record of it. I'm going to let it refresh for just a second. And now you're going to see within the platform that the call recording now lives here. You can play it back at any time. If I need to, I can actually make a call from the customer to the customer. I'm going to assign it to a topic. And I can go ahead at any point, I can call the customer back and that recording will live here. I can forward this dialogue to anyone that potentially needs it. But you have this record here. Now, the other piece that's really helpful is we have what's called call center dashboard. So this is a live option if your district decides to also purchase the add-on call center. So they're able to make current calls right now in your current contract, but we can also upgrade to the call center, which is where you would have a live queue where you can see exactly how many calls are in queue, who the caller is, what agents are available to take the call. You're able to see lots of data and metrics here. That can really help guide decisions as far as staffing, as far as peak times of day and other things that you need. So call center has been really key for Cypress Fairbanks as far as tracking long-term metrics as far as customer experience, volume of calls, and for their staffing needs. I hope this was helpful to kind of show how Let's Talk can really transform and streamline customer service and internal processes within a transportation.
Okay, so just a glimpse of what that will bring to the table for us as a district, and particularly our transportation department. Again, we're very excited about that and our partnership with Let's Talk and K-12 Insight and the upcoming training of all of our staff within that platform. So at this time, I'll yield back to the members of the committee for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. I'm thrilled about all of the things you presented, but first, I want to defer to the committee members, and then we'll come back to non-committee members. Ms. Yates is on the board.
I think Jasmine has one question.
I had, but
sorry.
no, I will wait till everybody else, I'll wait till everybody else is gone and I will come at the end. Ms. Yates, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I just have really one question. On EduLog, are parents able to track the bus?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I know back in 2023, Southwood students had presented to y'all about a program they were building. Do you know where that went?
We have the capability with our software now to let parents track buses. We just do not. And there are reasons for that, you know, when we get into custodial issues and those types of things, there can be some problems associated with them being able to track a bus to try to intercept a child at a specific location, those types of things. You know, if all the software was used for good, then it would be great. Unfortunately, in a lot of cases, it's not. And we've dealt with several situations, even in that, where parents have tried to intervene with buses to pick up children that they did not have the right to pick up.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Now, Ms. Yates, caveat to that, we do share that with the schools so that the schools can track their buses.
Ms. McLean, do you want to keep up with the names?
Yeah, Mr.
Okay.
Umling.
Okay. Mr. Umblin?
Thank you, Madam President. I have, good job on that. I like it. It looks good, interesting. One question that I have, I guess the Let's Talk is a new software, is that correct?
No, it's a current software that we have. We're just expanding the capability of the Let's Talk platform that we already have.
How long have we had the Let's Talk software?
I believe we've had it.
We had the first iteration. Hi, Mr. Umbling.
Hi.
So we've had the K-12 Insight Let's Talk program since 2017. Now, with the idea that as Caddo's evolved, also the product has evolved. So there's been new features that are being added over time at any point, which allows us, within the past 6 months, for example, they've added a chatbot feature, which allows us to use AI to answer questions, as well as various other templates that we are currently working to take advantage of. Transportation is one example. We're also working with enrollment, HR, and other services as well to be able to fully launch at the beginning of the school year.
Perfect, okay. It was just new, I've never seen it before. And then my next question, which really doesn't need to be asked now, because we've already had the software, so it really doesn't matter. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I have some comments, so I'm already on the board, but also on the committee. Okay, first of all, this is just, I'm really thrilled. I'm thrilled about the incentives, about the new buses, about the new drivers. You know that I'm one of those parents that has called at the beginning of the school year clogging up the phone lines. So I'm excited that we're gonna streamline this Let's Talk thing. I'm looking at it now on the website. I guess this is not its final evolved form, right? This is the current form?
Yes.
Okay.
It will look very similar to what you just saw in the presentation with the
Okay.
different topic buttons.
Okay, I'm curious, on average, how many breakdowns do we have per week, or maybe per month would be a better?
I believe this year, and I'm speaking off the top of my head, so forgive me
Average.
if I'm incorrect, but I think we had 1.5 this year per day.
1.5 per day?
Yes.
Okay. So
Now, when we say breakdowns, that could be a flat tire, that could be any number of things, a busted radiator hose, a broken belt, those types of things.
Okay, but it puts a bus out of commission for that morning or afternoon where these
Temp-
extra drivers and extra buses stepping in are going
That's
to be
correct.
just a great asset. Okay, that's wonderful. My other question is on Find My Bus Stop. I've heard parents say, and I don't know for sure, that the times are not always accurate when you go to Find My Bus Stop. If it says, your child is at university
Right.
and the bus will arrive at 6:32, maybe that's not.
And it may not
Close.
be. That's where we try to communicate with the parents, because keeping in mind, that's what the software gives us as the time, when the route starts and when the bus arrives. There are all different types of ancillary issues that can cause that time to be a little different. We always include in there the bus driver's name and contact number so that they can reach out to that driver to establish the correct time. And then again, of course, there's a window on that time that we ask, that we're given. Some like it to be at the same exact time every day, and that's just, within 5 to 10 minutes, we can be there within that same window. but maybe not exactly the same time every day at the same stop. So they do have the option to contact them, or they contact us, and we simply run through Samsara and look at an average time that the bus is arriving at the stop, both AM and PM, and provide that to the parents.
Would there be a way to, once we have our bus routes going and have some data on it and say, okay, well, they are actually getting to this stop 27 minutes later than what's listed? Is there a way that we could update it?
If there is a need for something that's that, disparity of time, if it's within a 5-minute window, we usually don't adjust that. But if we're seeing that this bus is, 25, 30 minutes off schedule one way or the other, then yes, we can address that.
Okay, what is the time length that you draw the line on updating it? Do you have a hard, okay, if it's 10 minutes?
We
then
ask
we'll
our
adjust.
drivers usually to start turning in their route sheets after the first month of school.
Okay.
Because keeping in mind, all of our times are off in the beginning. And a lot of that is because, and it's worse in the afternoons, because all of our elementary schools, and rightly so, they want to make sure they have all the babies on the right bus. So we're delayed usually for the first couple of weeks coming out of our elementary schools, which then again delays us going into some of our middle and high schools, depending on the makeup of the route. So usually a month in, we're asking for them to bring in the sheets. Our supervisors then begin to review that, and if significant changes are seen on that, then we need to go in to Edgelog and adjust that so that it shows on Find My Bus Stop.
Okay, I only ask because there have been mornings where, you got to send a kid out and it's dark and it's raining and it's 40 degrees and it's
Yeah.
usually the bus is there at a certain time, but you don't want them to miss it, but you don't want them to stand in the rain. There's
know.
a weird line that you've got to balance on with the bus and the weather.
And we do ask for a 15-minute window, both AM and PM.
Yeah, it's hard when it's
I
cold
know.
and rain, or
And I
rainy or
get it,
what-
I
yeah,
understand that. It's, logistically, it's just, we'd like to be at the same time every day, and a lot of our drivers are within 1, 2, 3 minutes of their time every day.
Yes.
But then something could occur, traffic, an accident, whatever, that we're having to, maneuver around, and it could delay them.
Yes, that happens. My final question is, J Campus Connect, the app.
Yes, ma'am.
I did look it up. I don't see it. Is it J Campus Student? I see a J Campus Student and J Campus Staff, but I didn't see J Campus Connect.
It's coming.
It hasn't come out yet?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Now training our administrators.
Okay, so I'm done. Superintendent Burton is on the board.
Okay.
Thank you. Chair McLean, that was the comment I was going to make around the J Campus Connect, that it is an app that's coming. One of the most frustrating things about J Campus has been when a parent's number changes, sometimes it's not updated. And so therefore, schools are so frustrated many times trying to contact parents. That's why going to J Campus Connect, that it's an app, is going to be so helpful, because it doesn't matter if we have the right cell phone number or not. It's going to be able to communicate with the app. So the parent, a bus driver could communicate with that high school student. The parent's going to be able to see it. The teacher can communicate with the parent. Regardless if a number has changed or not. So again, it's going to be an app. Think of it almost like GroupMe. And another thing it's going to be is, instead of, we've had schools having to purchase their own GroupMe or Classroom Dojo or all of these other communication means, now we're going to have one where the district will, of course, provide the training and the oversight, and it's going to run on our system. But that's going to be the positive of that. And we are rolling out a really robust plan. So when parents walk onto a campus, when they drive onto the campus, we're going to send through social media QR codes where they can download the app and sign up. The second thing, when Mr. Roberts and Ms. Wood talked about Let's Talk, we are setting an expectation that when someone calls or someone sends in a request or a question, there's at least a 24-hour turnaround. We want everyone to receive their answer to their question as quickly as possible. So that way, now that we are routing it through Let's Talk to the exact right person, we know that that's going to just provide a greater customer service experience. So very excited about these two and all the changes that are being made in transportation.
Sounds great. Okay, we have Miss Bell on the board, but Miss
I'm not on the committee.
Yeah, Miss Yates just got on, so I'll go to her, and then we'll come to you, Miss Bell.
I just have one follow-up to Mr. Burton's, the app. What age will be able to get on this app? Will our students?
Now, this is for parents, and then if it's appropriate, like, we're not going to have elementary, we could have middle, but many times at a high school, we have coaches that need to communicate with their players. And right now, many times, they may be texting and communicating other ways. Well, in 2025, that's not appropriate. And so what we're saying is all communication must go through Let's go through JCampus Connect. That way, the parent is observing everything. That way, the school can see there's a record of it, and but the main 90% of this app is going to be parent and district or parent and school communication.
So will the student need to log into the parent's account to have a conversation with the coach, or how would that work?
I really don't know, to be honest with you, as we go through the training, and we will make sure once we are ready to roll this out, we will bring an update to you all so you can see it.
And it'll be ready when school starts?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, Miss Bell?
Okay, I have a couple points and then an observation. I like the fact of the
Your mic's
incentive.
not on.
I like. Okay. I hit it. Okay, I like the idea of the incentive for the parent. Maybe they'll, cut down on the Friday missing and the Monday missing, I guess,
Correct.
But the thing that I want to ask you about, and I got some calls about this, last year, and that's when they have big schools like mine. There's a connection is between them. I guess it got to be the attendance clerk or either the school and the bus driver. I had an incident, I don't know if it was last year, yeah, where the mother was there waiting on the baby got on the bus that morning. The mother was waiting at the bus stop for her baby, the baby didn't get out, okay? The mother and the father, had problems, they weren't together. And what happened, and I was saying the connection, found out that the daddy picked the baby up during that day. Didn't relate to her. She almost had panic, okay? Is it a relationship between the school to let them, the children that ride the bus all the time, to say, well, this baby was checked out of school or something, or that bus driver, no, y'all don't have that? There's a way we could do it, or what?
On a high school campus, I would say typically not.
It's elementary though.
On an elementary, I think where the teachers escort the students typically out to the bus ramp, I think you have a lot more dialogue between those teachers and the staff members on the bus ramp and the drivers. So I think a lot of that can be communicated, hey, so-and-so I know, usually rides, but they're not here today, they were checked out.
And the bus drivers are familiar with the students, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Do they have a list of students? Okay, what happened? Okay.
Yes, they have a roster of the
The mother
students.
just, when the bus driver, I wondered, did the bus driver check the attendance? And when she got to the bus stop, the mother almost had a fit.
Right.
So I'm just saying that could have been one, more.
And we don't check attendance per
That's what I'm
se
saying.
as they board the bus. But they're there at the front of the bus watching the kids
Mm-hmm.
board. And typically a driver can tell you if a student boarded the bus or not.
Oh, okay.
Miss Bell, on that, I would like to say, anytime my kids have been checked out, we get a text from JCampus that says your child has been checked out as of 8:45 a.m. So that is another means of communication.
I think that was just a deal with.
And Ms. Bell, there are
That was a personal
capabilities moving forward where we could potentially go to the badge system of students scanning on and off of buses. That comes with a cost for the district, but that is something that, you know, as we continue to grow as a department, where the iPads are placed stationary on a bus, and every time a student comes on board, they scan on, they scan off. So you have a record of who was on the bus, where they boarded, where they exited, the timestamp, the whole nine. But that is something that comes at a hefty cost.
All right.
That's all I want.
Mrs. Yates?
Oh, I was wondering when I was gonna get my turn.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Go ahead, Miss Yates.
Miss Bell, like our bus driver, she's wonderful. And if she sees that our kids are not at school or something, she'll text or that they don't get on the bus. She'll text the parents just to make sure the kids didn't go somewhere else at the school and didn't get in the bus line. Or she'll ask you to text her that morning if your kid's not going to be on the pickup or the drop-off, just so she knows. And she's real good. If the bus is gonna be late leaving the school, she'll send a mass text to all of the parents that are on that route, just to let them know, hey, we're 30 minutes behind, or hey, you know, there's a storm and I had to stop driving, or, you know, whatever the case may be. She's really, really good about that.
Okay, Board President Green, I'm so sorry. Your name just isn't on here, so.
Yeah, I don't
didn't
have
think about it.
yeah, you can't, I don't have anything to indicate what I want to speak. The Let's Talk app, and I noticed, and Mr. Burton mentioned something that I'm fixing to get at. He mentioned something about a QR code for parents to sign up. Is that for the Let's Talk app, or what is that exactly for?
I believe, and I think some of his may have been the J Campus Connect QR code for that.
So are those that's an integrated system or two separate systems?
They're separate systems.
Okay, so that thing where you said find my bus or where's my bus stop, how easy is that to access?
Well, currently, it's pretty easy. You go to the Caddo Parish Transportation website, and it's right there, along with Find My Subbus coverage.
Okay.
However, now with Let's Talk in K-12 Insight, they will actually access that on our transportation website. Now, communicating the change and the new look of the website is where we will work hand in hand with the communication department this summer to educate the parents before the beginning of the school year as to what this is and a tutorial on how to utilize it.
Okay, yeah, because those QR codes are so convenient. You know, you can just hit
Right.
that button, take that, snap that picture, and you're right at the site.
Right.
And so if we had I would like this for myself, a small little card that maybe some board members can pass out with transportation and, you know, where's my bus stop and Let's Talk on one little small card.
Right.
When we first get started, that would help me out as a board member a ton.
Okay.
And that way we can cut down on the questions. And by the way, and I'm going to end here, I want to thank Transportation for handling what I needed them to handle for me for a parent for summer school yesterday. I really do appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yeah. That's all I have is if we can get those QR codes or whatever we can do when school starts or when we get towards implementing this with the Let's Talk and the Where's My Bus Stop, I sure would appreciate it. And that's it. Thank you.
Okay, I don't see anybody else on the board, so we will move to our visitor section. The Caddo Parish School Board welcomes your input and comments regarding items that are on the committee meeting agenda. If you would like to speak regarding an item on today's committee meeting agenda, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and then make your remarks to the entire board. Please limit your comments to no more than 3 minutes. A time clock on the monitors will help you be aware of your time. When the time runs out, your time is up. It is the board's policy not to respond individually to members of the audience. When appropriate, the board may refer concerns to the staff to be addressed. As this is a public meeting, we ask you to refrain from referring to personnel by name or incident. In accordance with school board policy, derogatory statements about or directed at a school board member, any employee, or any other person shall not be allowed. Are there any visitors that would like to come to the podium? Any visitors?
Any visitors that would like to speak? Okay.
All right,
Anybody have a motion?
She on the board.
okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Yeah, we through. Right on time, huh?